So that's out of the way. Right, time now for my second guest, and you're going to love him. He's only 25 years old, you know, and I've got material older than you. Anyway, I'm going to welcome onto stage a very funny young man. I know you're going to love him. Please make him feel welcome here at the Apollo. It's his first time here. Russell Howerd.
It's the funkiest garage of all time. Hello, lovely to be here. I love coming to London, it's fantastic. It's quite terrifying, right? When you arrive, because I live in Bristol, right, you arrive on the train, the first thing you hear over the tannoy, do not approach unattended packages. Beware, unattended packages, watch out, Russell. In Bristol, I genuinely heard this the other day. Here, don't feed the pigeons. Very different. Now, occasionally, you'll hear something in the street so funny you'll nearly explode. I genuinely heard this the other day in Bristol. One girl said to another, honestly, Marie, his dick was so big I wanted to phone you. That is just mind-blowing. Can you imagine that? Ah! Marie, if I lived, I loved you! I exploded, you know that, you know your proper laugh. You know when you're not allowed to laugh, but all you can think about doing is laughing. It's like when you see an old lady get hit by a frisbee. You know it's wrong. You can't help it. And it's weird when you go like that. I once laughed like that during a funeral. Now, that is awkward, right? It was my dog's funeral. It was fairly weird. And the reason we got a dog in the first place was because I was afraid of dogs. Classic British parenting. Right, he's afraid of dogs. Let's get him a dog. Hey, you face what you fear, son. Now, what's all this about anal rape? I'm fine. Just a cuddle, you lunatic. My mum said goodbye to the dog, and my dad said, "Arr, arr," and you know when you can feel your face just going like that. You never know when you're going to laugh at that. One of the funniest days I ever had, I went on the Countryside Alliance March, right? I'm not pro or anti-fox hunting, I just quite like watching posh people get beaten up. I know it's wrong, but if you can find me a more glorious noise than then I'll happily listen. You shouldn't laugh. You're essentially laughing at someone who's richer than you getting tonked, but we all have that part of our brain where we find weird stuff like that funny, you know? Do you reckon the Queen of England's ever pulled her bed covers up so that just her head is showing and just gone, Philip, look at me, I'm a stamp? You know? I doubt it. These ridiculous thoughts, you know? It's the same part of your brain that finds the idea of going to an old folks' home dressed as death a little bit amusing, you know? I'd never do that, but I'd giggle if I saw it. They were wonderful. If we didn't chase the fox, the entire country would be overpopulated by foxes. Is that what you want? Some hideous land of the foxes? Me, unable to leave my house for fear of a fox wandering up to me and stabbing me in the gizzards? Is that what you want? Is that what you desire? Fox upon fox prowling along my paddock, flicking the V's at me, walking hand in hand with asylum seekers? Is that what you want? A darkie riding a fox on my property on his way to violate my Mildred. And you're like, whoa, somebody needs to stop reading the Daily Express, you know? Horrible paper. The front cover of the Daily Express may as well be every day. Don't go outside! It's full of queers, blacks and crime. Oh, if only Diana were here. It's a ridiculous full of bile and hate, you know? And it leads to ignorance. It's the only reason that bloke in Liverpool ripped that Muslim lady's veil off. What a cock. How great would it have been if he'd accidentally picked on a ninja? Wouldn't that have been amazing? Ah, sorry, mate, I thought you was a muzzy. Burberry cap up his arse, the world's a better place. I love Defiance. One of the great stories I heard about. There was a bloke a little while ago who got put in prison for 3 days because he refused to stop kissing his boyfriend on a plane flight to Hong Kong. How magnificent is that? You can't help but just picture him dressed entirely in latex. All right, lads? I'm going to make this flight fairly tense for you. Ramon, let's do the bad thing. Do you want to stop doing that, mate? I'll face the stewardess. Whatever. Stop doing that. It's not natural. You're flying. And if you put in prison, what with men, think it through. You need people like that, heroes, defiant people, you know? And I got mugged once, and I don't know if you've ever been mugged and fought back. I didn't, right? It was so scary. I was in Brighton. This bloke pushed me against the wall, went, give us all your money. I ain't got any money. I genuinely called for my mum. How pathetic is that? Mum, as if my mum's going, oh, Russell's in trouble. I don't know what that is. Apparently my mum's a meerkat all of a sudden. I went and I told my little brother about getting mugged. Did he care? No. It was sort of what happened, Russ? A little bit of wee come out. He got really angry. What'd you do that for? Like I'd done it on purpose. I'm not a toad. Didn't try and ward him off with my venomous piss. I didn't think you're under attack. Secrete, toad boy. Show him your powers. I've got my pants. He offered me advice, genuinely. Well, you know you're a weed, Russ. Just use your brain. Next time, bamboozle the mugger. That was his genuine advice. But how'd you bamboozle anybody? Someone, give us all your money. Well, you say that. But what, my friend, is the opposite to opposite? Consider yourself bamboozled. Who's next? You like my credit card details? What colour does a Smurf go when we choke it? You know my name. They call me the bamboozler. Ridiculous. The worst superhero in the world. If I was going to have any superpower, I'd like the ability to make somebody orgasm just by touching them once. Not for sexual purposes. That would be amazing in a fight. Kill him! Kill him, Steve. I'm trying to, but I'm too horny. He's made my belly fizz. I haven't got that skill. If I had that skill, I wouldn't be here. Be in the zoo causing a great deal of mischief. Which animal, old lady? The hippo. You got it. I love regular sex. I'm quite confident sexually, but I make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Has anyone ever tried using food in the bedroom? Has anyone ever? You go, we're not telling you. It went really badly. I was like 19, and I read in a magazine like 59 ways to please your lady and using food. So I went and bought, now this is a mistake, I went and bought a 4-pack of Rolo yogurt. And rather than tell my then girlfriend what I had planned, I pretty much waited for her like some hideous yogurt goblin. And I doubt there's anything more terrifying and yet pathetic to come home and find your boyfriend naked holding yogurt. I panicked, and I didn't put a little bit. Honestly, we're both fine with the arrangement. I pretty much covered her, right? Every bit of skin I could find. By the time I'd finished, she looked a bit like Morph. She's no longer my girlfriend, now she's an angry meal. Eat me. Where do you start licking? You can't lick randomly, and then she looks like she's got an illness. So I did foot up to knee. That took me an hour. We're having fun now, aren't we? Having fun. Why aren't I going out with a hobbit?